Hey guys, Romanian Reaper here. So, it is still October, so that means it is time for another spooky season review. So, I just got done watching Last Night in Soho, which is, of course, the latest film from Edgar Wright. And this is a very interesting one because obviously, Edgar Wright, throughout his past filmmaking, he's very much, known for comedy. In fact, even his straight genre film that he did previous, Baby Driver, is still very healthily sprinkled with his trademark sense of humor. So seeing him go fully straight into a horror film, hell yeah, that really interested me. And even the very mixed response to this, I was still really curious because it's Edgar Wright. I love the guy's films, and he's a filmmaker I really admire. So hopefully he can deliver a really fun, thrilling horror film. Can he? Let's find out. So, the film follows Eloise Turner, an aspiring fashion designer who lives in Cornwall with her grandmother. One day, Eloise receives a letter accepting her a place into fashion school in London. She heads out there and gets a bedsit by herself to live while she studies. However, when she falls asleep, she is transported into the glamorous world of 1960s Soho, where she lives the experiences of aspiring starlet Sandy. However, Eloise's dream world soon begins to turn into nightmare when she begins to realize there's something darker going on. So, look, I love Edgar Wright's films. The Cornetto trilogy, hell yeah, they are banging genre send-ups. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, one of the most quotable films ever. Don't at me. Baby Driver, an absolute banger. So, the guy doesn't miss. And, with the reception to this, I was expecting this to be like a weaker Edgar Wright film. And to be honest, I actually absolutely loved this. In fact, I actually think this might be near the top of my Edgar Wright ranking. I mean, for one, it is incredibly thrilling and incredibly captivatingly told. Like, Edgar Wright jumps at the opportunity to make a straight horror film inspired by obviously giallos, and he jumps at that opportunity with great relish. The storytelling is very incredibly told. It's incredibly compelling exploration of the objectification of women, how men use and abuse them, and even there's some little commentary in there about mental health, and no matter how strong you are, sometimes you still need to get help from others. Is it's surprisingly potent and resonant thematically, and it gives it that strong little through line that keeps the drama so compelling to watch. And it helps as well that the craft on display here is fucking impeccable. Like, obviously, the cinematography for the present day scenes is great, all neon lit Soho streetscapes. And when it's transported to the 60s, wow, the film is on another level. The level of detail and craft that Edgar Wright has put into this, the love is so apparent on screen, and wow, the cinematography, the production design, the costume design, soundtrack, it all comes together and really immerses you in the period world. And to his credit, he also handles the horror stuff surprisingly well. There are some really good effective sequences that had me on edge. Obviously, I'm not someone that's easily scared by horror films, but they did a very good job of unsettling me and did a very good job building a creepy atmosphere. In fact, the cinematography, there's some real fun, trippy. shots here where everything becomes all distorted and color shifts around. It's magnificently done, and there's really fantastically done swelling sound design, and even some really fun ghostly visual effects. Like craft wise, yeah, the film is on another level, and it really sells what Wright is going for, and makes the story all the more compelling to watch. And it helps as well. We have some great performances to convey what Edgar Wright is trying to say. Like, we have a great leading performance from Thomasin McKenzie. Of course, you'll recognize her as Elsa from Jojo Rabbit. And yeah, she is fantastic here. She very much perfectly sells Ellie's like anxieties of her struggles to fit in the big city, and it's absolutely perfect when it only gets more amplified when Sandy's life experiences start bleeding into her own life. It is a fantastic performance. And we also have a great performance from Anya Taylor-Joy as Sandy. She's incredibly charming, charismatic, very much selling the starlet in her. But also as she begins to get more like used by men, and men's more and more men start chatting her up, offering her drinks. She does a really good job of portraying that mental struggle within her, and does a really good job of putting on a smile for for each different man that asks her name. Is fantastic. And we also have a absolutely cracking villain turn from Matt Smith as Sandy's manager, Jack. Wow, he starts off incredibly charming in that Matt Smith way, but then becomes incredibly more controlling and threatening over the course of the film. He is such a presence, a fantastic performance, and man, it's a pity his Hollywood film career post this has been relegated to Morbius, but but maybe more and more projects will start taking notice that he is a fantastic performer. And hell, the supporting cast is fairly solid as well. Most notably, we've got Eloise's friend John, who she meets while in London, and begins to get comfortable around him. That she can tell him that she's struggling. And I thought, the guy that played him, Michael Ajayo, you'll recognize him from Attack the Block. He was one of the two young kids with the water pistol that looked like a real gun. Yeah, he's very good. He was very charming, very likable, and he has great chemistry with Thomasin McKenzie. And just all around, the characters are very engaging, very likable, and the performances are good. And it perfectly sells the storytelling, and it makes it all the more compelling to watch. And I mean, I have one little niggle, and that is the climax. Like, don't get me wrong, the final act, as with the rest of the film, is incredibly thrilling and captivating to watch, and in fact has some really good twists that genuinely caught me off guard. I my little niggle with Act Three is that it kind of over eggs the pudding in regard to blending, the visions of Sandy's life, or the ghosts, and blending that with Eloise's. Like, it does go a bit overboard on that front, where it's like, where it constantly shifts between like what's real and what's imagined. Like, yeah, again, by and large, it's still an incredibly thrilling climax, an incredibly thrilling and compelling film. But yeah, I feel like maybe it could have been dialed back a bit. But still, in saying that, I absolutely loved this film. Like, I'm genuinely stunned that this bombed at the box office on release. Well, well, obviously, I can't exactly say much. I unfortunately didn't get the chance to see it when it released, but having seen it for myself, genuinely, the fact that a film of this quality was just rejected by the audience. It's so disappointing. But yeah, overall, I loved this film. This is a top class Edgar Wright film, incredibly thrilling from minute one to the last. Just yeah, it's a fantastic film, and overall, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Last Night in Soho? What do you think of it? Because obviously, there are some wildly different takes on this film online. And let me know, what's your favorite Edgar Wright film, and what genre would you like to see him take on next? Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.